When he turned his back from shoulder to shoulder, it looked like as wide as the tailgate of a truck.
And just darkness, literal darkness, just came like all over, just all over me except where I was standing.
This thing let out the most blood-curdling, mind-blowing, spine-tingling scream that you've ever heard in your life, and it cut through me like a knife.
And I knew that they were going to take me. I just knew it. And then the next thing I can remember is being levitated.
Well, when I look in there, I see two big eyes staring back at me.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Bump Podcast, a place for the believers of the unexplained, monsters, and paranormal. Join us, and we'll go face to face with what goes bump in the night.
It was interesting. The first report that I got was a state policeman, a trooper in Raleigh County here in West Virginia, which is, in the Beckley area. And so I called him and went and talked to him. And, he'd been riding a four-wheeler. He liked to hunt ginseng. And it was the spring of the year, but he had his wife on the back of the four-wheeler, and they were riding a right-of-way. And then he would go off of it, just looking for places that in the fall when you could hunt ginseng, he could do it. But he was just at that point, just kind of looking around. And he told me that he had taken this path off the right of way, and he was putting along. And he said he saw a fire burn stump, and he didn't think much of it and continued to putt along. And he looked back at it, and he paused, and he asked me, "Have you ever seen one?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Think sheet of plywood, that large."
Wow.
He said, "I'm not saying that they take people, but people disappear. And it's just so large, Russ, you can't even imagine." And he said, I had a gun, but he said, it never even occurs to you. It's too big. And I'm hitting reverse on the four-wheeler to get out of there. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" And he said, look. And she just started screaming, "Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no." And, it was pretty traumatic for that woman. She had got some counseling. They moved into the town, as a town was, in Beckley, West Virginia, as opposed to living out in the country. And, I took him back there at night where it had happened. He was with another state trooper. They both had their guns drawn. He was chain smoking. He was crying. And I thought, he saw something, or, he believes he saw something. And, in West Virginia, we get Ohio gets about a report, maybe 2 a week. And I'm not saying a legitimate great report, but, just a report that's probably in all likelihood someone is misidentified something. Or since the TV show Finding Bigfoot was on, I've helped with that TV show several times and been on it, I think 4 times. Prior to that show, really, most people didn't even know that Bigfoot really made a sound.
Right.
Some people knew what Bigfoot was, but, then for a long time when that show was on there, all the reports we would get would be like something along these lines. "I've been in the woods my whole life. I heard this sound. I've never heard anything like it. And I know all the animals." And a lot of them, probably 75% of them, were like that. But, in West Virginia, we were probably getting maybe a report every couple weeks. And probably, like I said, the great majority of them are misidentification, but about 2 or 3 times a year in Ohio or West Virginia, you would get a report that was remarkable. That was a doctor, a state trooper, a game warden, a very experienced, bright person that was well spoken.
Yeah.
And and you live for those reports. And that's one of the interesting things about Bigfoot is, the witnesses really largely don't have anything in common. I mean, the most common sighting is a road crossing. We have one place in West Virginia where there's been 5 road crossings. That's the most that I know of.
Where's that at?
But